The news of shootings and murders in schools that we believe to be the safest places for our children is horrifying. Do you think it's humane to empathize with someone who does brutality in schools only because they are juvenile? Even if you have a flicker of humanity for them, some of these shooters with their offensive reactions will make your blood run cold. Let's see those unpleasing school shooters reacting to their sentences at the court. Nicholas Cruz. Meet the 19-year-old Nicholas Cruz, who untethered a terrifying shooting spree, killing 17 people in 2018 at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. Prosecutors remained adamant about giving a death sentence to Cruz after he pleaded guilty to attempted murder. During the sentencing trial, Cruz's defense team stated that he had a neurodevelopmental disorder resulting from fetal alcohol syndrome. Finally, Cruz was sentenced to 34 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole. In his made-up apology statement, Cruz solicited pardon for his action and requested the judge to have mercy upon him a second chance. He also mentioned that the country would do better if everyone would stop smoking marijuana, causing racism and violence out in the streets. Cruz appeared emotionless as the judge read the sentencing verdicts, but he seemed fidgety as she continued naming each victim. Though his face looked detached from feelings, his minute eye movements revealed his bewilderment. Another criminal who realized that there was no point in apologizing for taking someone's life was Devon Erickson. Here is Devon Erickson, who reached the suburban Colorado high school with an eccentric shooting binge. Devon Erickson, then 18 years old, and his accomplice, 16-year-old Alec McKinney, caused the death of Kendrick Castillo and injured 8 others in the assault. Prosecutors argue that Erickson and McKinney had chosen a pitch-black classroom where students watched a movie to maximize the havoc of their attacks. During the sentencing hearing, Erickson's father, Jim Erickson, apologized to the community. Devon Erickson was seen wearing handcuffs and a red and white striped prison suit and a blue mask. Erickson exhibited no emotion except blowing his nose into his mask after sentencing. However, his voice broke just when his family members told that they loved him. He chose not to explain or justify his actions when the judge asked if he wanted to. Eventually, Erickson was found guilty of first-degree murder and 45 additional crimes related to the attack. Although McKinney was sentenced to life as a minor, he may be eligible for parole in 20 years. Let's see another culprit who asked for mercy on the grounds of mental illness. Sky Butcher. 19-year-old Sky Butcher wounded one student at a Florida high school on the day of a national classroom walkout to protest gun violence. Butcher was taken into custody 3 minutes later by a school resource officer who rushed to the scene. Butcher surrendered to one of his former teachers and said he wanted to be arrested because he was mentally ill. Butcher later admitted that he had experienced neglect, violence, and mental illness since childhood, and he just wanted to be away from everyone else so that he doesn't hurt anyone. He said that it was his sickness that drove him to plan a shooting at the school. Butcher was charged with terrorism and aggravated assault with a firearm. He was penalized to 30 years imprisonment. He was also given an additional 30 years of probation and ordered to pay restitution. Meet the monster who showed obscene antics in the courtroom after killing 3 innocent fellows. T.J. Lane. 17-year-old Thomas T.J. Lane, former student of Chardon High School, used a .22 caliber handgun to attack 6 students. By the time he was done, 3 were dead, while the rest suffered horrific injuries. One of the victims was permanently paralyzed. Witnesses said the shooter had a personal enmity with one of the victims. Lane was convicted with 3 counts of incest murder, 2 counts of attempted murder, and 1 count of illegal assault. Throughout the trial, Lane appeared composed and impenitent. He frequently smirked and smiled at the victims' families throughout the trial. On the day of his sentencing, Lane came to court with a white shirt with the word "killer" scribbled on the front. Following a lengthy trial, Lane pleaded guilty to all the charges in March 2013. He was given 3 consecutive life terms without parole. When he learned his fate, he cursed the victims' families and gave them and everyone in court the middle finger. Last in the list is the killer who made an eye-watering apology in court, Caleb Sharp. This soft-spoken, calm young man, Caleb Sharp, brought multiple weapons to school and opened fire on his classmates, killing Sam Strahan, who tried to defend him, injuring 3 girls and intimidating dozens of others. As per reports, Sharp was dealing with mental health problems, including depression and untreated ADHD. After a long legal process, Sharp was sentenced to 40 years in prison. Sharp showed no reaction when the video of his action was played in court and when he was handed his sentence. But he did apologize that he won't be able to erase the scars he made in the bodies and minds of his victims. Those scars will remain with all those who watch it over the years. Let us know what you think about these shooters and subscribe to our channel to unveil more terrifying reactions in the courtroom. Bye, until the next.